Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's big. He had a career. Yep.
Listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Oh, that was so cool, everybody. I hope you have had a wonderful, eventful, as they say, last week or so, guys. Obviously, has been an interesting, I would say, gosh, what would you say, Matt? Almost a week now, right? That has been going on in the upstate and in the all around the southeast, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a bit crazy. Been a bit crazy.
That's right. You know, guys, I actually had the privilege to see Matt today at his job in Buford, Georgia. We were displaced. Yes, we were displaced here. For those who don't know, the upstate and the Western Carolinas suffered a devastating, tragic weather event, a hurricane. Unlike any other we have ever seen, came through, and it did a number here in the upstate. It came in as a Category 4 hurricane in Florida, and moved its wonderful way into Georgia and into the Carolinas. The eye actually went over Clemson, South Carolina, which is about 30 minutes or so south of me. And at one point, we had several wind gusts that measured over 90 miles per hour, which that's unheard of to think about. And if you guys haven't seen the damage yet, I highly suggest you guys turn the news on and take a look. The upstate of South Carolina is still without power, I believe, to almost 200,000 people. That goes all the way from Oconee County all the way up to Rock Hill area, which is at the border of North Carolina. Western Carolina got the brunt of it. Some places got over 30 inches of rain, the massive flooding that took place, the wind damage, trees are down all over the place, power lines. So if you guys do see a first responder, a power line crew, everything, just say thank you and, give them a cup of water, a cup of coffee, something, because they're going through a lot. They're working endless hours. They're working from 7 a.m. all the way to 11 p.m. at night, and they're doing it all over again the next day. So as you see, we do have a little ticker down here on the bottom. It says thank you to all of our first responders, power crews, and more. And the new phrase that has been going out is hashtag SC Strong. South Carolina Strong, yes, but we're also giving a North Carolina Strong too. It has been an eventful experience going on. So I'm glad to be back with you all. Matt is glad to be back with you guys as well. We did take a couple days off just simply because of everything that's been going on. We lost power here for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So almost 5 days we lost power. So it was pretty rough. And glad to be back. So Matt, other than getting to see you obviously today, I was actually happy to see you. How has your week been going?
Week's been good. Week's been okay, man. I didn't really get all I got pretty much was some heavy rain. And then some power blips here and there. That's pretty much all I got, man. I was one of the fortunate ones. Of course, there's some places in around the Atlanta area that got flooded and had a lot of property and a lot of roads underwater. But I was one of the lucky ones as more north. But it's other than that. It's same old, just sitting back and looking at what's going on in the sports world, man. We had a really good week. It was a really good week from in all levels, in all sports, man. Basketball. I'm sorry, not basketball. My mind is in football, NFL, and college football. So, and some good news in baseball as well. So, things have been good.
Guys, I don't know if you guys have been keeping an eye on baseball in general, but if you haven't, you've missed. You gotta, you have to really top this up. There's been two real good feel good stories of the Major League Baseball this year, Matt. And the first one we have to tip our caps to is the Detroit Lions. Coming into the second half of the season, they had I think it was like 0.4% chance of making the postseason. And what do? They're in the postseason, guys. They made it. That's an amazing story. They became one of the hottest teams in all of baseball.
I'm sorry, the Detroit who?
The Detroit Tigers.
I thought you said Lions.
No, I said Detroit Tigers.
Okay. We'll have to rewind the tape. Go ahead.
Or rewind the tape. Wow, rewind the tape. What are we like in the 90s called they want their tape back? If I did say Lions, I'm sorry, but it was the Tigers. And then also the second feel-good story, you guys, is the Atlanta Braves. I mean, after all the adversity that they have been through, they've been through the ringer. After so many injuries, they made it to the postseason. Matt and I were actually talking about this earlier, and I said, wouldn't that be like the icing on the cake if excuse me one second, please. Matt, talk for a second.
Yeah, wouldn't it be the icing on the cake if, Braves made the playoffs?
Yep. And then, guys,
and then won.
Here's what's even crazier, right? Is if the baseball gods tipped their caps and said, you know what, Atlanta, here you go. Here's your World Series trophy. They ended up somehow getting through it all, and they win the whole thing. That would just say, you know what? It doesn't matter how big your checkbook is. It just matters that you have a team that is willing to win. They can do it at any cost that they need to win. I mean, I'm pretty impressed that they made it. They almost didn't. They had a chance to beat the Mets in Game 1. You're up 3-0. Schwellenbach did phenomenal. Like, this dude is a rookie. He did outstanding. He was lights up. And leave it to good old Joe Jimenez to blow the game. And then not only did he blow the game, guys, Raisel Iglesias, one of the better closers of the game, just said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys all these runs. They ended up, it was like 6-3. And you're thinking, oh, this is it. Atlanta's not going to win. Just, put a stamp on it, call it a kind of thing. Well, all the Albies decided to say, nope, hold my beer. And if you excuse me, I do have Aspen crying. But Ozzy Albies said, hold my beer. And the Braves took a lead. They were up 7-6 going into the 9th inning. And this is it. Atlanta's got 3 outs. They're going to win Game 1. They're going to be in the postseason right away. Gets 1 out. Oh, this is perfect. We're doing it. Yep. Pierce Johnson blows the lead, and the Braves lose 8-7 against the Mets.
Of course.
Fantastic job, for Pierce Johnson. But the Braves overcame the obstacles. They won Game 2. People kind of said it was like a gimme game, and the Mets were going to go ahead and just lose no matter what, so that both teams get in there and not have to face the Diamondbacks. Because last year, remember the Diamondbacks? They were a hot commodity in all of baseball, and pretty interesting stuff. So the Braves actually play in a little under an hour. Actually, they are in San Diego, guys. It breaks our heart to say this, but Chris Sale is not starting, but he's not even playing in the wild card round, and he actually is the Triple Crown winner of the pitching world for baseball. Tip my cap to him. He will win the Cy Young Award because of what he was able to do. I mean, guys, this is the best he has been since his 2019 MVP campaign with the Boston Red Sox. Which, remember, the Red Sox won the World Series because of him. So he is a phenomenal pitcher. Some people made a joking yesterday that Chris Sale was The reason why he didn't play game 2 was he didn't want to be responsible for the fact that the Braves didn't make the playoffs. And, who knows if that's even true or not, but he did have back spasms, is not playing this round, so we wish them luck. Hopefully we do see the magic of even 2021 come about for the Atlanta Braves again. And who knows, come November, that ring could be coming back to Atlanta again.
Exactly.
So we're pretty excited about that. Matt, let me ask you this. What would you give the grade for the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday playing against the ever-hated rivalry? Which, by the way, guys, if you are oblivious to what the Falcons and Saints rivalry is called, it's called the Down South Dirty Rivalry. There's a reason why they call it that. Was because you are guaranteed 2 games a year on TV. Matt, what were those 2 games every year guaranteed?
Against the New Orleans Saints.
That's right. And the reason why it was because you want to see who the worst team in the NFC West was.
Yes.
Wait a second. The NFC West. Why did I say that? Because, guys, the geniuses in the NFL put Atlanta and New Orleans in the same division as the San Francisco 49ers.
And the Rams.
And the St. Louis Rams. Guys, tip your caps to the geniuses there. But actually, Matt, I'm going to give you a little trivia question here.
Go ahead.
You probably know the answer, but I want to see.
We'll see.
Who is the second biggest rival for the Atlanta Falcons?
That's a good one because I have many answers there. Besides the Inks, I would say it has to be the San Francisco 49ers. You got them. You got okay, hold on. Okay, so it wasn't. I'm saying that because they used to be division mates.
So you are very close, though.
So then it has to be the Rams.
Yep,
it has to be the Rams.
The St. Louis Rams, formerly
greatest show
known
on turf
as the LA Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Greatest show on turf. Yep. So it wasn't until the late 90s that the Rams, Falcons, and Saints games were guaranteed on TV every year. It was so good to see it because you knew something great was always going to happen. And I can still to this day remember Mike Ditka's wonderful traded away all his picks for Ricky Williams, and
yes,
he became the most hated man in all of New Orleans. I wonder if he still is. I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Matt? Do you think he still is the most hated man in New Orleans?
I mean, I will say Ricky Williams was that dude in college. He was that dude. Yep. So, I mean, it's just, hey, man, the weed got to him, man. He just couldn't put down the weed.
That's right. just put the grass down, man.
Put it down, man. Just do it in the off season, brother. Just put it down.
That's right.
Man, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Don't mess your money up.
That's right. Don't mess it up. As you always say, don't get flagged.
he got flagged plenty.
He got flagged big time. So, Matt, what would you give the grade though for the Atlanta Falcons? You have A, B, C, F.
I would give him a B. And that's like an 80. There's no B minus or B plus. It's right middle B, like an 85, like a B.
85.
The reason is because, man, their offense, man, they're missing something. And with the recent with the news breaking out of a certain wide receiver, that can go for a second round.
I'm praying.
I'm not gonna say any names, but if we can snag him up, but our receivers aren't getting separation, man. And Kyle Pitts, I mean, he's
Wait. I just picked up the milk carton. Has anybody seen Kyle Pitts?
He's leaning towards the side of not being that dude, know. And it's fine. I mean, I just look at that draft. We could have had Micah Parsons. We could have had Penei Sewell. We could have. I'm not even going to go there. But man, in that, and we don't know what it is. I mean, he came out. That's a story for another day. I gave him a B. They got a B for me because the offense is just still sputtering, man. They're still just getting by. They're still relying on the defense, man. Defense is doing a hell of a job, man. Every game, the defense has done a hell of a job. So they did a good job on, Kamara. They did a good job against Carr. They did a good job touching Carr up, getting to him, man. I mean, Taysom Hill got his scores. Yeah, okay, he gets his scores against the Falcons all the time. The trick stuff and whatever. But, I give him a B, and the B is because their defense got an A and their offense got a C. So
Yes.
they got a B for me.
Well, so I'm kind of right there with you. I'm going to give them like an 88. So right on the cusp of a B plus. And here's my reasoning on that. Okay, you're right. The offense is par, and again, where's Kyle? If with the real Kyle Pitts, please stand up. Please stand up. Will you real Kyle Pitts? Please stand up. Right? He's trash. Um, Bowers, why didn't they go after him? Kind of thing, because Kyle Pitts. Now I want everybody to go back and take a. I'm not gonna share the screen on that one because I don't want to get any possible copyright infringements on that one. But Kyle Pitts, Marcus Lattimore. Kyle Pitts is 6'6", guys. Marcus Lattimore is like what, 5'10", and he is outreaching Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts, like, I don't care. That's really what it looks like. I don't care. And I gotta say, is this enough for what we're seeing Kyle Pitts? Are we going to see anything else? I don't think we are, actually. I think he is where he's supposed to be, and that's mediocre at best. A good friend of mine posed the trade possibility on Twitter the other day, and I'm okay with it. 4th rounder, maybe 5th rounder. That's kind of what we're leaning to. Kyle Pitts, he's not going to break the bank. This was a make it or break it kind of year, and he's breaking it so far. He's not doing a good job. I'm not impressed. I will, though, however, tip my cap though to Drake London. Drake London he's found his point. He is more open. He is trying harder. He is more reliable than what he once was. But the question that everybody asks on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on anywhere really, is how did Matt Ryan get Kyle Pitts 1,000 yards when nobody else can get Kyle Pitts 5 yards, kind of thing? I mean, it really begs the question of, was Matt Ryan that good, or was Kyle Pitts just that bad?
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it's the world may never know. I mean, but it's one of those things where, man, I mean, he came out the gate with 1,001 yards, but he only had like what, 2 touchdowns, 1 or 2 touchdowns his rookie year.
Yep.
And then
one of them was London.
Yeah, and then he got hurt. He got hurt, man. Yep. And what is he not back to what he was? But you got to take it back to his days at Florida. They ain't really playing anybody in Florida, man. So I mean, I'm not even, he didn't really play against anybody that can really, that was more athletic or just better than him, man. And so he's in the league now, man, where everybody's up to speed, and it's he's just not getting separation on his routes. He's not blocking as like he should be. If he's going to block like that, he just needs to line up, be our second wide receiver. Let's be our second wide receiver. Let's get another tight end in here, man. Let's bring let's bring Austin Hooper back or something. I mean, a tight end like that. A tight end like that, just solid. Get about catch about 4 or 5 balls a game for 30, 40, 50 yards, man, with a touchdown here and there.
That's better than the 5-10 yards that he's maybe getting a game.
He had no catches last game, right? Am I mistaken?
And Kirk Cousins, he's not a bad quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's getting better every week.
Yeah, but looking with the Vikings, he fed Hawkinson the ball. He fed TJ Hawkinson the ball. Why can't he feed Kyle Pitts the ball? What's the difference here? Is Kyle Pitts not getting
what is missing with Kyle Pitts? Kyle Pitts, I think he kind of just settled, because Arthur Smith really kind of ruined what Kyle Pitts' possibilities were. And then you don't see the level of competition that you saw when he was with Matt Ryan, even, and obviously Desmond Ridder was never the real solution. Desmond Ridder was a joke of a pick, and that's one of Terry Fontenot's worst picks, I feel.
Who's that? I don't recall.
Exactly.
I don't recall.
You know who Desmond Ridder reminded me of? Who? Do you remember the movie The Longest Yard, where the guy was like, I shouldn't have that popcorn kind of stuff. That's what he reminded me of, because he would whoop, hey, throw me pass, what? Whoop, that's what I thought, kind of thing. That's the reaction you get with him.
Yeah.
So, with regards to the defense, I'm giving the defense a 97. I really am.
Yeah.
Because, Matthew Judon, He loves Derek Carr. And then Troy Anderson, I'm so proud of him. This dude is coming into himself. Troy Anderson, guys, I don't know if you remember who Keith Brooking is or who he was. He reminds me of Keith Brooking. He has heart, he has grit, he has determination, and the dude is football smart.
Why does he remind you of Keith Brooking? Why can't he remind you of somebody else? Why does it have to be Keith Brooking?
Well, he also has and I'm not saying anything about Jesse Tuggle. Come on now. I'm not going to bring Jesse Tuggle into the picture, which, by the way, guys, if you didn't know this, Jesse Tuggle's son actually plays for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, he does.
Matt, who is the son?
He is Grady Jarrett.
Big Grady Jarrett. That's right. So, guys.
People don't know that. I'm shocked you knew that, Brandon. I'm shocked.
Oh, I'm not. I'm a Falcons. I'm a Dirty Bird fan for life. Hey, however, I'm going to give our special teams 150 out of 100 because Young Wei Koo can do it. That's who can do it. The dude hit 4 field goals, and his last one was a game winner from 58 yards. He could have nailed it from 65.
He got a funny story, man.
This was remarkable to see. I'm like, oh, because, of course, as long as his career long going into that game on Sunday was 54 yards. So he lines up for a 58-yarder. I'm thinking, oh, God, please make this. He makes it, and the rest is history. A+ to him. So, I'm looking forward to next week's game. Unfortunately, this week's game, actually. It's on Thursday. I'm not going to be able to watch it, and I'm not going to waste my time or money signing up for Amazon Prime for one game to watch because Amazon Prime games commentating is terrible. Hey. It's usually related to the worst competition as far as games go.
I'll send some links your way.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Let's talk a little NBA news. Yesterday, my heart hurts for this, and the basketball world hurts for this too. And when I mean this is, I'm telling absolute truth. This player still is, and will forever be my all-time favorite player. He is the greatest player, I believe, to ever walk the face of the earth. I'm talking about the legend, the NBA Hall of Famer, Dikembe Mutombo, passed away at the age of 58 due to brain cancer. I knew he had it, but I didn't hear anything in the news. And I'm thinking maybe he got better. Because, his kids actually went to high school in Georgia. And I had the privilege of being able to cover them when I covered high school sports for Georgia at WDUN up in Gainesville, Georgia. And it was really cool to get to see him. Every time I saw him, I was starstruck. I met him when I was 15 years old. And Matt, when I tell you I idolized him, I absolutely did. I have what you see in this jersey. I have Dikembe Mutombo's jersey. I have a signed basketball by Dikembe Mutombo. I have a signed baseball cap by Dikembe Mutombo. I have a signed poster of Dikembe Mutombo. And my nickname before high school was Mutombo because when I blocked shots, I blocked them clear across the sky. So it was pretty cool. Hey, guys, we have a very special guest. He has just joined the studio. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to give my cap to this guy. He is the biggest ATL person known to man, bigger than us. Matt and mine's good, great friend, Mr. Home Team Brandon Leak is in the house. How are you, sir?
Fellas, sorry I was a little late. Thanks for having me.
No, we're okay having you on. Hey, we were just talking about what grades we gave the Atlanta Falcons against the New Orleans Saints. So, Brandon, let me ask you this. Matt's given them an overall grade of a B, an 85. I gave them about an 88. What would you give the grade for the Atlanta Falcons against the Saints?
I give them a B because they got the victory, but it's A+ for the defense and A++ for special teams and Young Wei Koo. You got 7 points from a fumble on a muff punt from your special teams, and then you got 12 points, including 2 50-yarders from Young Wei Koo. So there's your A++. And then the defense, they held off as long as they could. They gave up the 1 touchdown at the end, but my goodness, it's the NFL. there's only so much you can do. And the offense coming along still with 4 games in, they just did not do their part. So hopefully Thursday we'll see them do their part. But to win a game where you don't score an offensive touchdown at home against your most hated rival, you got to put a lot on the special teams, on the defense, and on the coaching.
Absolutely. A friend of mine, I'm not going to name his name, but he told me there was that the PI call at the end was paid for by the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And, I have to sit here and just like New Orleans fans, they're, quote, the most passionate fans, but obviously they're the most obnoxious fans. They're right there with the Philadelphia Eagle fans, but they're the most like hated fans for the world for a reason, because they think the Saints should win everything and everything should be given to them. And when they lose, it's obviously the world's out to get them. Woe is me, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Like against the Rams, right?
They were hurt.
Right.
Typically, win or lose, rain or shine, Atlanta or New Orleans, they do a lot of this, a lot of yik-yak. And I'm telling you, I walked in with them going into the building, and I walked right past them on the way out. It was silence. It wasn't, we'll see you in New Orleans. They were hurt. Their feelings and their souls were bruised when Younghoe Koo put that 58-yarder through the pipes.
I mean, let's look at that perspective too, Brandon. Younghoe Koo, and from what ESPN said also recently, is he's like the 6th most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history. How is that even possible?
Well, one, I think he worked on some things when he was let go from San Diego earlier in his career, and he knew, you get cut twice. Their kickers coming in every single year, and there's some veterans that are always available, and you have a small window to prove that you belong. So he worked on some techniques. I talked to him a couple of years ago about some of the things he changed, and it was more about his routine. So kicking indoors, a lot, certainly for 8 or 9 games, and, throw in New Orleans, 10 and the other domes, you might be kicking in a domed environment more than 10 times a year. So being able to hit those, and then, hopefully they'll be able to get him some closer field goals. But when he first got here and you were going to the end of the Matt Ryan era and new coaches coming in that time, didn't know about the offense then, he was kicking a lot of balls from way out. So they've needed him, and hopefully he will start to be the icing on the cake, not the majority of the scoring for the Atlanta Falcons in football games.
Amen to that. Brandon, let me ask you this question, and I told this to Matt. I saw actually Matt say we were displaced from the current hurricane here. Our power just came back on yesterday, so we were without almost 5 days without power here. It's really a rough situation going on up here in the upstate and Western Carolina. So I got to see him, and I said, wouldn't this be like icing on the cake if the baseball gods just said, you know what, Atlanta, you guys have lost so many injuries, but let's go ahead and just give you the whole stinking World Series. How great would it be, to overcome the amount of adversity that the Atlanta Braves have gone through and win the World Series?
Well, it would be incredible. I mean, when they won it in 2021, nobody saw it coming. They had a good team. They weren't a 500 team or over 500 team until they got to August, and then they went on a run. Problem is, we haven't seen the run come, and hopefully, punching the ticket to the wild card will be the starting point. I was at the first game yesterday, and Ozzie Albies, driving in 5 runs, getting himself 2 walks, a big hit late. Hopefully, he and Michael Harris II and Matt Olson, the guys that have been here, can help carry the torch. But they've lost so much. You lose Ronald Acuna Jr., an MVP. You lose Austin Riley, an MVP candidate. You lose Cy Young Award winner Spencer Strider early. So, that would bury a team. There are 2 ways of looking at this. You need to really be appreciative of the Braves because they could be in like they are, or they could be out. There is nothing that says they shouldn't be 5 or 7 games out from where they are. You have to give Brian Snitker and Double A and all of the guys that came up at the end to do what they needed to do. Just think about it. Game 162, it took Gio Urshela driving in an important run, and it took Grant Holmes getting a start where Chris Sale was scratched. That's how you, in part, got to postseason play.
Yep.
And I asked this question to Matt actually today too. I said, are the Braves that good, or are the Mets just that bad?
Well, they made it too. So they had that six run eighth inning where they did what they had to do. Just needed to split. I think, for fans, I think we feel like we own them. And if it comes down to we need to catch the Mets or we need X amount of series to win, I think a lot of people in Braves country will say we're going to catch them. So I don't know if a lot of the new Mets think like that, but some of the guys that have been around, Lindor and Pete Alonso, they know that if the Braves are around, the Braves can win a series or sweep a series like they did a couple of years ago if they have to.
Absolutely. And I told everybody to start the show, there's two feel-good stories that happened in Major League Baseball this year. One was the Detroit Tigers. They had like a 0.4% chance going into the postseason starting the second half of this year, and they're in the postseason. The Atlanta Braves have had like 1.5 trillion injuries, and they made it to the postseason. How about this, Brandon? Let's stamp it today, October 1st at 8:01 p.m. The World Series would be the best World Series if it's the Detroit Tigers versus the Atlanta Braves. How does that sound?
Well, you have plenty of storylines, that's for sure. I don't know if baseball would love the Atlanta and the big market. I think, if I'm putting on my conspiracy theories that they want California team in.
Yes.
They want the Dodgers or they want the Padres in. And then for timing purposes on the East Coast, they would like to have, somebody, what they really want is the Dodgers and possibly the Phillies. They want big markets from different coasts. That's what my conspiracy theorist hat says. So I think we should just ruin the party. And, I think for the Braves, their pitching is just as good as anybody left in the postseason. The question is the same question for every single game and every single series. Can they hit and will they hit? And we're about to find out whether they can do that, because if they can hit, the pitching in the bullpen is enough to beat anybody in front of them.
Amen to that. Matt, let me ask you this, because I know we're kind of like toss up about the Atlanta Braves with regards to what team is really going to show up, right? Do you? And I'm going to ask you the same question, Brandon. Do you think the bullpen is as solid as it can be, or do you think it can get better now in the postseason?
I think we know what we know about the bullpen. I think you have enough harms. Jimenez, Pierce Johnson, Raisel Iglesias. We know enough. If somebody gets in trouble and Snit has to go to a bullpen game early, he can trust whatever he has to throw out there, righties or lefties, to get the job done. My question is, what kind of game will it be? Will they be in a game where you have to bring in Raisel Iglesias because you're down a run or you're tied in the eighth, or can he just come in with a run and maybe a little bit of traffic that he has to deal with in the ninth inning when you have a chance to win the game? So I'm not worried about the bullpen. For me, it's all about scoring. Can you score early? Can you not leave runners in scoring position? And can Matt Olson and whoever's supposed to, and Marcelo Zuna, knock home runs out to drive in a couple of runs at a time, because this team, when they lose, is because they can't get runners home.
Absolutely. Matt, what do you think?
I gotta agree with Brandon here, man. It's all about them bats. It's all it's gonna be. It's gonna be about them
bats.
Are we gonna be stuck in a 1-2 game at the bottom of the ninth, top of the ninth, or what is it gonna be? Are we gonna be able to score with these teams that we're gonna have to face in these playoffs? So to me, I think our pitching is gonna be fine. Our pitching is gonna be solid. It's just about them bats.
That's right. It absolutely comes down to and here's the the hard pill for me to swallow, Brandon. Why did it take the Braves until the eighth inning to be like, hey, I'm gonna wake up and let's just score runs? That had to be like what I think you said yesterday on Twitter. The Braves Mets matchup was like a comparison to
Alabama, Georgia.
Alabama, Georgia. That's right. Yeah. And it really, because look what happened. The Alabama Georgia game, it was like stagnant, and then Georgia goes and they score, and then literally one play later, Bama goes 75 or whatever yards for a touchdown. It was pretty interesting back and forth. Speaking of college football, Brandon, I know you saw the news today about the Mountain West Conference. University of Temple El Paso is joining the MAC. The Mountain West Conference, by the way, used to be the old WAC. And then there's also talks that I heard on 24/7 Sports. They mentioned that the Mountain West Conference is in serious talks with both Montana, Montana State, North Dakota State, and South Dakota State. And the Pac-12 has added basketball powerhouse Gonzaga to the system. What are your thoughts on the Mountain West Pac-12 kind of like off-season rivalry starting to develop?
Well, I'm not gonna feign like I'm a big Mountain West guru, or I watch a whole lot of Pac-12 stuff outside of just the big teams. But I will say I am intrigued by all of this conference jumping and realignment. At what point are people just doing things for the now, and how much of this is sustainable long term? I mean, the fact that we have, West Coast teams now in the ACC, and now you have in Mountain West teams not that far, but when you start talking about rivalries and you're starting to talk about TV product and eyes on the product, what's for now and what's for long term would be the question I would have. Look, North Dakota State, they have been a team that a lot of people, a program that a lot of people over the years don't know a whole lot about, but they have a solid program because they don't have people jumping to the NFL. So you take a program like that, and you really have some good football players. I'm interested in good football, but I'm not going to act like I know what this is going to do for both conferences. If you look at anybody, about 4 or 5 teams are your conference, and that's
Mm-hmm.
it. And that's the truth. It doesn't matter if it's the SEC or not. It's 4 teams or maybe 5. And so you're trying to find out who that 5th team is. And then for the ACC, it might be 3 or 4. Big Ten, same thing. It might be, 3 or 4 teams that can really have a chance to win it all. So I'm more interested in what is long term than getting excited about who's moving where, because quite frankly, if it's not a good matchup, I'm not going to be watching it on TV from my home on a Saturday, and I don't know how long it's going to last.
Amen to that one. Let me ask you this: Georgia Tech, they've been kind of given a little surprise for the ACC this year. Matt and I are both. Matt's actually a Georgia Tech fan. I'm actually pretty impressed with how they're hanging this year with the teams. Do you think Georgia Tech could actually give, Clemson a run for its money? Obviously, Clemson, they were terrible against UGA, but now they've gone on this like scoring streak, and they're blowing everybody out of the water. Do you think Georgia Tech could actually give Clemson a run for its money?
The only way they can is if their defense gets better. They can't get to the quarterback, and they can't get off the field. And the offense has been really the saving grace. I think Haynes King and Jamal Haynes, they are really good. Jamal Hayes, they're really good players. And Eric Singleton Jr., I like when star players and the 3 stars and the 4 stars, 5 stars, make the big plays. But the defense has to help out as well. And in the games we've seen, Syracuse and Louisville, if there's any stagnant part of the game, which there will be because you just can't run up and down the field on people with the offense, then the defense sometimes has to stand tall. They did have a chance in the game against Louisville, but it just wasn't enough. So the truth right now is the Jackets, I don't think they're in a bad place. If they don't catch Clemson this year, I think what Brent Key is doing is fantastic. And I think what he needs to be is offensive line institute, where he can recruit the best offensive lineman he can get his hands on, tell him we can coach you up and put you in the NFL. And then that will breed other star players, other quarterbacks you can get out of the transfer portal like you did Haynes King to come on a regular basis. But I don't think they are where Clemson is yet, but they can still get better. Coming off of a bye week and taking on Duke now, this is a tail game for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. You have a week off. You're at home. You're playing Duke. They have Malik Murphy, a new quarterback. Can you beat him at home? If you do, looks like you're progressing. If you don't, now we have questions, and now we might have to start looking at other ways to find victories for Georgia Tech.
Hey, absolutely. Matt, what do you think?
So harp on what Brandon was saying, man. I mean, I just don't think we have the horses on defense for Clemson. I just don't see how we're going to stop Klubnik and them boys. Offensively, I think we're solid. Offensively, we're good. The Haynes, I call them the Haynes Bros. I think they are going to do what we need to do to keep us in games. I just think that when we play against teams that have NFL caliber talent, we just fall short. I mean, dating back to the game against Syracuse, man, we and they don't even have NFL caliber talent like that. We just couldn't stop anything. We couldn't get off the field on third down. So I mean, I don't see them doing anything against Clemson. To be honest with you, I don't see them being able to keep up with them or getting them off the field. Now, as far as Duke goes, I think that will definitely tell which direction our season is going. If we can beat Duke, which I think they will, I think they'll scrape by Duke. If they can beat Duke, that is a kind of a showing us that we're headed in the right direction.
Absolutely. Brandon, the WNBA expansion draft is coming up. And the rule is you can protect 6 key players, and then you can go from there. It is the Golden State Valkyries, and then next year will be the team from Toronto. And then, there was talks that we could be seeing Philadelphia join the ranks of the WNBA. We could see Houston. We could see Charlotte. All sorts of names are starting to come back up. What are your thoughts with how the WNBA is going? Could you see them maybe getting, because I've heard the magic number is 32. I've heard it 36 as well in all professional sports. Obviously, it's continuously changing. Do you think that maybe the WNBA could head in the same direction and challenge Big Brother for teams in the league?
I don't think they need to. I think they need to focus on what is best for their league. And if it's 2 more teams, 4 more teams, 6 more teams in the next decade, so be it. But I don't think the model should be we're going to do exactly what the NBA does. We're going to have 30 teams all over. I think they need to look at this point in time like a starting line. And I know that's hard for people who have been hardcore WNBA fans, players, coaches, people who have really been pillars for the WNBA community, because they have had some really good stars and they've had some really good moments over the years. But the truth is they have not had anything like this with the Caitlin Clark effect coming in with Angel Reese. And so you need to look at this as a starting point and then look at the things that make sense and make money. I think that's the bottom line. As long as they continue to make money and they continue to get really good matchups on TV where people are watching, they did see a bump in the TV ratings. They did see a bump in attendance. But my question is, how much of that is the Caitlin Clark effect? And how many of those were the games where she was on TV? And how many of the games were when she was coming on the road? Having to have that as well, but also capitalize off the attention that is brought to the arenas and to the cities when she shows up. So I think it's a great opportunity. I don't have a problem with expansion. I think it's been a fun year. I have never, had a problem with the WNBA. I've been a big supporter. I went to both of the dream runs to the WNBA finals when they first got started years ago. So I've always liked good basketball. I think now it's just trying to harness what is best and what intrigues people. And right now it is Caitlin Clark. She's the Steph Curry of the WNBA. And how do you use her and her celebrity and her game and her ability to draw people in, juxtaposed with the other young stars that are coming in that have social media presence, who can also maybe get some new fans and get some new credit cards run for games when they come to a building in a city near you.
Amen. Absolutely. Brandon, did you get a privilege to go to any of the Dream games when they played at State Farm because of, as mentioned, Caitlin Clark?
I went to the second one. I didn't go to the first one. I went to about 6 games this year at the Gateway Center Arena, and they've had very good crowds in College Park. And so the Dream have a great opportunity. I think that what they need is a little bit of closeout factor. They lost a lot of games where they were right there at the end, and now they're going to be losing Tina Charles, who's a veteran that really held things together. They're going to have to find a way to get some big body points down in the paint. But I like what the Dream are doing, and they have a great opportunity, I think, moving forward with a group of young stars, and I think they have the right coach.
Absolutely. I asked Matt this. I was going to ask you. I told him I was going to ask you this next time I saw you. I see you get to make these like fantastic looking drinks every time on Twitter. Let me ask you, how do you get your ice to be the perfect circle every time? I mean, that looks fantastic. Oh my God. If I had that kind of ice maker, I'd be in hog heaven.
Well, two things that don't have anything to do with me. One, the power of technology. One, and two, my wife. She was in charge of the ice cubes. They're actually pretty cool. So we have two different versions. We have the ones that are round, and then she found a couple of contraptions where they're made after different balls. So we do have some ice makers or holders that have golf balls, footballs, basketballs,
Oh
tennis
my
balls.
gosh.
So I can't take any credit for that. I will take credit. I have been able to get the steady pour with my strong hand while holding the camera with my offhand. So I think that's pretty good.
Yes.
I got a little attaboy. I'm gonna take an attaboy for that one.
Matt, if you get a chance, go look at his Twitters. He literally will put like he'll say like a source going to
I've
put
seen
ice in there and the pouring you do is like it really is. It's perfection, Brandon. I mean, heck, I can barely pour a beer. Come on now. I mean, I gotta take it from lessons from you, man.
Yeah, I'm
So
still
let
a
me
work
all
in
right.
progress. Still a work in
So let
progress.
so let me ask you this, Brian. Brandon, goodness, I called you Brian. I'm sorry. Let me ask you this, Brandon. Um, we're coming to the point that everybody's excited about. Matt and I. That's actually Matt and mine's first love, basketball. The Atlanta Hawks. They had the number one pick. People are actually kind of criticizing who the Hawks chose, but then we'd look at several of the preseason games, the summer league games, whatever you want to call those, and we saw the number two pick go over in a couple of his games. What can we possibly expect to see this year from Quinn Snyder, from Trae Young, from Russ Shear, from the entire team? Could this be the year we finally get out of the stupid play-in tournament and actually get into the regular tournament as, like, say, a number 4 seed?
I hope so, but I don't think so. I think this is an interesting spot for the Hawks. It isn't a rebuild or a redo. It's kind of like a resurgence of talent when you get the number one pick, and hopefully Zach Ricochet will be, phenomenal. He's 19, so he's got to grow into his body. He's got to get used to the NBA game. But looking at his film, it looks like he has the ingredients in him. My concern is a good number of the core of the Hawks players have been together for a while. And when you have that, you would expect to see a monumental leap. And we haven't seen that yet. And we
Mm-hmm.
still are talking about closing out games, still talking about not playing defense in the fourth quarter. And now you have to talk about it without DeJounte Murray. So I'm hopeful, but I am not certain that that's going to be the case because I don't think the moves that they have made make them better than the teams that were in front of them. And I think you look at what the Knicks are doing. The Knicks are not messing around at
Oh,
all.
no.
Philadelphia goes out and they get Paul George. You got to know Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's upset that they had not the season they want to have. You got to look at what Cleveland was able to do in Orlando, who nobody talks about. They're just teams that are in front of the Hawks. That doesn't mean that they can't get a top 6 seed, but if they don't have major marked improvement, I honestly expect them to be right where they are or where they were last year. Very exciting, very competitive, but scrapping to get into the play-in tournament.
I thought it's very hard to hear because we're natural. We're Hawk fans here.
Yeah.
Obviously, you saw the news yesterday, and we started out with talking about he was literally my all-time favorite. He will still be my all-time favorite. He'll be the greatest of all time to me. NBA legend, Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo unfortunately succumbed to brain cancer. When I was 15 years old, Brandon, I got the privilege. They were playing at Alexander Memorial Coliseum against the Bucks for my birthday. They were building Phillips Arena, and I got to go on the court for the pregame celebration, and I got to meet Dikembe. I got a basketball signed by Dikembe. I got a poster of Dikembe signed by Dikembe. I got a ball cap signed by him. And I have his jersey. I have it when he had his Denver Nuggets as well. I even have the Houston Rockets jersey. He was, for all intents and purposes, my favorite player for any sport. When you heard the news that Dikembe passed away, what was your first reaction?
Sadness just to be around him over the years covering the Hawks. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's a Hall of Famer in life. and he was just a nice person, a very giving and selfless person. And there are not many people that walk the earth where everybody likes him, and everybody could who cross paths with Dikembe Mutombo could say that you liked him. Very gracious with fans, with kids, people who saw him play, people who were too young to see him play. An international ambassador for the game. So it was just, it's just really sad. And 58 years old is not old. And
No.
still a young guy in his 50s, and you just hate it for him and his family and his kids, and for the Hawks right before they get started. I'm sure the Hawks will be doing some things throughout the course of the year. Wouldn't surprise me if they wear a patch or something on their jerseys. But just sad because he was such a nice guy and he was positive. There are a lot of things that aren't positive in the world today, whether you hear them or you see them. And every time you came across the Kimbe Mutombo, it was positive, and it was good to be in his presence.
Yes, indeed. Matt, do you have any fond memories of getting a chance to see Dikembe play?
Yeah, man. The first Hawks game I ever went to, man. Pretty sure I was 13 or 14. It was when Vince Carter got that baseline dunk on him. That was the first game. That was the first Hawks game that I went to. But yeah, man, real cool guy, real good guy. I remember one time, man, just a side story. I ended up lost. I think I was somewhere behind Roswell Road or somewhere, but I was lost, and I was. This is before the. Not just tell my age, but this is before the whole little you had to print out the MapQuest
Oh,
directions.
MapQuest.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, I come out his house, and it's a big DM on the gate. Like, it's a huge gate, and there's a big DM on the gate, man. And couldn't find out that was his house. So I mean, but as far as stories, I mean, it's what you see and hear from other people, other players, everybody that's been around the game. You just hear he was a nice guy. You never heard anything negative about him. He was always nice to everybody. That's kind of those are always the people that always take it from us so soon. But
Yes.
yeah, great guy, man, great guy. Held it down for that little run when it was him, Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock, Alan Henderson,
Christian Leitner.
Yeah, man. I mean, that whole era where we were good enough to get there, but we just get beat by Jordan and the Bulls every time.
Yep.
So yeah, man. Yeah,
Every time.
A lot of good memories from Mutombo.
Yeah, and I had the privilege of getting to cover his daughter's basketball team, high school basketball team, when I worked for WDUN. So I got to see him one time there, and every time I got to see him, I was like, oh, that's my favorite. That's my idol. That is who I idolized every bit of it with. And my mother, we were at my mom's house over the week. My mom was like, told my wife, did you know Brandon's favorite all-time player passed away? And she's like, who was it? So she told her, Dikembe Mutombo, and she's like, I have no idea who that is. But she goes, well, Brandon does, and Brandon really admired him. That was his dream when he was 15, was to get to meet Dikembe Mutombo, and I got the privilege of meeting him. And I have to say, man, everybody tells you the truth. He is a legend not only on the court, was a legend off the court, was a legend. He was a great world humanitarian. He did such great things for his home country. He did great things for the city of Atlanta, for the city of Denver, for Houston, for Philadelphia. Everybody, everywhere he went, everybody he touched, he did it in such a positive, uplifting, caring manner. And he will be forever missed. Obviously, what was even crazier, Brandon, was Pete Rose passed away on the same day as Dikembe.
Yeah.
Now, the talks that are going around now on all of social media, and I am kind of pertaining to that as well, is do you think Pete Rose finally gets allowed to be forgiven and go into the Hall of Fame now that he's passed away?
We won't live to see it. If it happens, we will be departed from this world. He's not getting in. And because the number of voters that have still been in baseball that covered him, and the people that have come behind them that still respect the same morals and principles that got Pete Rose banned from baseball, are going to be around for a while. It will take a completely different generation of writers. It will take another generation of a laxing of views on gambling, an overall worldview as gambling starts to blend into sports. You already have casinos inside of some of these football stadiums, but as the attitudes lessen and lax on gambling, it's going to take another generation. But no, we will not see Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, and it's really too bad. He has to be held accountable for what he did, because it's not like it's nothingness. If you're the manager and you're gambling on baseball, you have a whole lot of outcome on what's going on a field, what's going on in a bullpen, what's going on a lineup card, what's going on a money line. And so it's not a lot of nothingness. It's just the problem is the player that he was before he became a manager and got in trouble with his gambling situation. He was Hall of Fame worthy. He is one of the greatest players to ever play the game of baseball. And it's just too bad. He made some decisions that will keep him out.
Absolutely, boneheaded decisions. And a friend of ours, his name is Matt, actually, as well. He's actually down the road from me. He lives in my neighborhood. I said, you're gonna have those people. There's a famous player here in the upstate. Everybody is gonna say, well, Pete Rose will probably be blacklisted the rest of his life, or rest of eternity, basically, because Shoeless Joe Jackson, he was blacklisted. And there was actually talks a few years ago on the upstate that they had petitioned to help reverse the decisions to ban Shoeless Joe Jackson from the Hall of Fame, and obviously it didn't prevail. He is still being banned even to this day. So it really begs the question of do cheaters prosper? And the answer so far is no. Cheaters do not prosper, and they never will prosper.
Can't gamble in your sport, on your sport, when you're the manager. You just can't do it. I think the other thing is, I don't know if it would have had any impact on the outcome, but he never was sorry until it was way too late. I mean, he went the day that Commissioner Giamatti suspended him, he came out and made a statement. He said he didn't do any of what he was accused of. And then years later, he admitted to everything that he did. So, not being contrite, I wonder if that eliminated any possibility, completely closed the door, but it certainly didn't help him.
It's a real possibility, and you're right. We're probably, in my lifetime, my 4 kids' lifetimes, their kids' lifetimes, they may never, ever get to see one of the best hitters to ever play the game, ever get a chance to be recognized as a Hall of Fame legend. Brandon, what do you have coming up in the weeks and this week remaining for you for being at 680 The Fan?
Well, we have a big week this week on The Fan. Tomorrow, which is Wednesday, you get a chance to hear Grady Jarrett, who joined us. You'll hear him in the 6 o'clock hour talk about the big win over the Saints, how he was pleased at the silence of them when they had to leave the building, and what's going on with the charge now of stopping Baker Mayfield. Then we have our Dirty Bird tailgate before the game Thursday. So come on out if you're in the Atlanta area. All you have to do is go to 680thefan.com, download a free ticket. We do it because you have to be 21. You come in, you get free drinks and free food. It's the greatest tailgate known to man. And then on Thursday, we will also have Kirby Smart, head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs. He'll join us in the locker room, and we'll ask him about the rest of the season. Tough loss to Alabama, but he was not upset at his players. And now they have Auburn and some big games coming up before he has to deal with number 1 Texas and Tennessee down the line. So a lot going on in the locker room, 6 to 10 a.m. Go to 680thefan.com or search the 680 The Fan app in your app store.
Guys, it is Brandon Link. I get excited, Brandon, every time I talk to you, every time you come on my show, I'm like, oh my God, he has to get talk to the best. You really are one of the, I'm gonna tip my cap and say you're the GOAT of radio, sir. Because I've known you for a long time. I have followed you for a long time. Yeah, you're the GOAT, sir. Keep going and doing what you're doing. I love your videos that you post. One of my favorites you actually posted so far this year was you guys were told by the bosses you could not sit down, and it's only 103,000 degrees outside. So you're pouring sweat, and you said, you know what? We're getting a chair and we're sitting down. I loved it. That was the best, Brandon. Keep it going, sir.
Yeah, I went home and got a chair. Now I think we've changed company policy because of my move. And I don't know about being a GOAT. The only thing a GOAT and I have in common is if you put something in front of us, we'll eat it. That's about it. So I look forward to talking to you guys soon, man. And check us out when you can on 680 The Fan or the 680 The Fan app.
We'll definitely
Absolutely. Hey, guys, if it is Brandon Lee, give him a follow. He will happily interact with you. And if you guys get a chance, look at his pouring perfection when he pours those drinks. Brandon, when I'm in Atlanta again, I'm gonna challenge you, sir, to let me have one of those infamous Brandon Leak drinks. Sound good, sir?
All right, sounds like if I can get the pour right, you can have the recipe.
Oh, sounds good, sir. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really do appreciate you. And hey, you know what I want you to do? Go enjoy the evening, sir. And please tell your wife thank you for letting us bend your ear for a little while, sir. We really appreciate it.
All right, thanks for having me. Let's go Braves.
Yes, right. Go Braves. Guys, that was so much fun getting to have Brandon. I mean, Matt, you know how excited I am to get to talk to Brandon, to get to talk to Abe, to Nick, to Chris, to Chernoff, everybody. I mean, tell me how cool it is to get to talk to one of your idols, basically, in radio. How cool is that?
It's definitely cool, man, because you get to learn something every time. Every time you have a conversation with them, you get to learn something new. So definitely a beautiful thing.
That's right. Hey, why don't you, I don't know if you have one around you right now, but if you do, would you mind showing everybody that beautiful piece of paper you got today?
I don't have one around me right now, man. I don't have it on me.
You're fired.
There's a good reason. There's a good reason.
Oh yeah,
I passed a lot of them out.
Hey, that's fine by me. Guys, let's quickly give you guys a little rundown for what is coming up the rest of this week. Okay, as you guys did see, our good friend Brandon Leak joined the Sportz Nutz. We were beyond thrilled to have him come on our show. So next Tuesday, we have the general manager, president, and the owner of the South Carolina Ravens arena football team coming on the show to talk about the new football team, the experience where they play, and all the fun stuff involved in there. Then we have, now this is where I really get excited about. So I don't know if you guys know, we get media credentials to the Anderson University football team. One of the best experiences you go to. They're a great school, great Christian-based foundation. Love every minute of every fan. That they are fantastic people. There is a gentleman. His name is Mark Vaughn. He is, I believe, he's president of like the media relations there. He has one of the most intriguing stories you will ever hear in your lifetime. This will actually bring the power of divine intervention, help increase your spirituality and belief. He is set to join us on October 15th, which I'm really excited for you guys to hear this because the diagnosis that he had happened to him was told 2 years minimum, at maybe up to 4 years for full rehabilitation. He was fully healed in 6 months.
Wow.
Guys, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I'm going to let you know he has had close encounters of the third kind with death, and he has lived and he has overcome the odds. Phenomenal individual, great story. Cannot wait for him to come on and talk about it. This one, Matt, I'm really excited about. We actually have a special show on Thursday, October 17th. There is, one of the greatest college wide receivers to ever don a uniform. Matt, he was picked by at the number 19th pick in the first round by who?
Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. He played for the Broncos, played for the Atlanta Falcons, played for the San Francisco 49ers, and back then the Oakland Raiders. Yes, we're talking about Ashley Lilly. Please stay tuned for that one. All my Hawaii people, I know you're going to look forward to hearing him talk. He's a great motivational individual. He speaks the truth when he talks. And then coming on the 22nd of October, the general manager of the Columbus Clingstones, AA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, formerly known as the Mississippi Braves, is coming on our show. Cannot wait to have him on. And of course, then we have one more, actually two more guests I want to announce. But on the 25th of October, former great coach University of Hawaii, and he's coached all over. Rich Miano of University of Hawaii, KHON2, coming on the show to talk. And then, of course, a really inspirational individual is coming on. I have to set up a date for him to come on. Matt and I are still working the questions out. Our good friend, Brian Kajiyama. He is a true legend. He is a great friend of mine. I have known him for a long time. What I highly recommend you guys do, check his story out on YouTube. It's called Heart of a Warrior. Brian Kajiyama, one of the greatest people who have ever donned a coaching uniform. He is a former football coach. But here's the cool thing is he can't walk. He cannot talk. Why? He has cerebral palsy. And he is probably one of the most inspirational people you will ever get the chance to listen to. So stay tuned for that when we come on. We're excited to have him on. Hey, let's give a quick shout out, Matt, to our good friends Tequila's Grill and Easily. Guys, again, if you are looking for some authentic, affordable, and delicious Mexican cuisine, then your people are our people at Tequila's Grill and Easily. Give them a follow on Facebook. Check them out. Give them a call today. Get it set up for your birthday events, your family gatherings, whatever you want to do. Give them a call. 864-307-8028, or even better, stop on by 5155 Calhoun Memorial Highway, Easley, South Carolina, 29640. Again, that's Tequila's Grill and Easily. Now, guys, Tequila says everything. Matt's favorite is the homemade salsa bar. My favorite is the queso. The happy hour, which is weekly from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is buy one, get one, 50% off all drinks. I mean, you guys, we promise you, Tequila's has everything you ever want. Again, it is an authentic, affordable, delicious Mexican cuisine. That's Tequila's Grill and Easily. Matt, what is on tap for you, sir, for the rest of this week until Friday?
Just get ready. Load up on, getting ready for some college football, some NFL football. Of course, Falcons play this Thursday against the Buccaneers. Yeah, against the Buccaneers. So, gonna tune in to that and just kind of, just take it a day at a time, man. Just taking it a day at a time and just getting ready for the weekend.
Amen to that one, yo. I do need to quickly give a reminder, folks. I have had to remove a couple of your comments. Please refrain from using any foul language of any type. This is a family-friendly show. My kids read it, and Matt's daughter does see the show. A lot of kids do watch the show. We are a family-friendly show. That sort of language that was used will not be tolerated. You will be banned and removed. So if you do invite friends to come watch a show, which we happily will accept that, please make sure that they know that any type of foul language, derogatory comments, negative comments, or any type of abusive comments will not be tolerated, and you will be removed from the show. That's plain and simple as that. Matt and I, we don't appreciate that kind of language. Nobody really does. So let's all be positive. Let's all be hearing. So, guys, again, we want to give a special shout out to all the first responders in the upstate of South Carolina, and also that of all Western Carolina. Tragic situation has unfolded in Western Carolina, more specifically the Lake Lure area. That a dam failure. It was catastrophic event. The loss of life, property damage, everything. May not rebuild the town for the rest of the year and then some. So just keep them in your thoughts. Keep the first responders in your thoughts as well. They are working endless hours. So if you happen to be going down the road and you see first responders, you see power line crews, just say thank you. Give them a bottle of water, take for a cup of coffee, something. They're working their backsides off. They're missing time with their families, with their friends, and they're there to make the cities better. We went, my wife and I and my family, unfortunately, we were displaced. We had to spend time in another state, in another city, because we had no power. We had to unfortunately throw away $800 worth of food. My mother-in-law, she's had to throw away more. I'm not the only ones. I guarantee there are thousands upon thousands of people in the upstate who unfortunately had to, throw away a lot of their food. So, even if you have friends down the road that they didn't have power, go give them, if you can, give them a meal. Take them out to a place, give them a hot meal. They would appreciate it. Anything will do for you guys. So, we love you guys. We've enjoyed having you watch our show. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for letting us bend your ears for an hour and 10 minutes. Matt, who do you want to give your shout outs to?
Just everybody out there, man, that's going through it with the hurricane, man. Just keep on trucking. They get better. You'll get back to some kind of normalcy soon. So just keep on trucking.
Amen to that one, and I give my shout outs to my girls, Addison, Eastland, Holden, and Aspen. They are my world, and more specifically, my rock, my queen, the queen of this household, my wife Cassie. She has been the adventure one through all. Hey, there will be an update on the knee coming on Friday morning. It does look a little better. However, the surgery looks like it most likely will be happen. We will, of course, keep you updated on that one. Yeah, it's not fun. What'd you say?
I said, new update just in. You're old.
You know what? You so old, you fart in dust. Hey, I got to see a really good friend of ours actually this week, Matt. You know who that was?
Who?
Yeah. Our good friend Brian Greenblatt. Brian, it was so good to see you. It was great to see his wife. Great to see their son Lucas. But guys, Brian's younger than both Matt and I, right? And his hair is more silver than this right here.
Hey man, new dad. I think he has a 2-year-old now. New dad.
Yeah,
It'll do it to you. New dad in marriage. It'll do it to you, man.
What is that right there?
But see, that's your fourth. That was his first. This is your fourth. You're used to it by now.
Guys, just so you don't know, that is my princess Aspen, my baby girl. She is almost 2.5 months now old. She's the love of our lives. We have a blast with her. She makes the cutest sounds. She makes her cooing sounds. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but she's doing it right now. And she's just coming into her personality. It's great to see them grow and learn. Matt had the privilege actually today to meet her. Matt, what did you think about meeting her?
I'm gonna tell them like I told you. Looks like her mom, thank God.
You know what?
I'm full of them today, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, I don't know if you heard this. I'm gonna play this again.
You are now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
That's right. You are now listening to the Sportz Nutz. Yes, Aspen, we hear you, baby. Guys, we love you. We've had so much fun with you. We cannot wait to be back with you again on Friday, 7:30 p.m. We will be back with you at the time could change. We can go up 30 minutes. We could go back 30 more minutes and make it even 8 o'clock too. All right. So we are working closely, trying to get a possible another guest on the show. If not, you still get to see these two beautiful faces. We'll be on there to talk sports with you. We have a lot going on. Braves are playing right now against the San Diego Padres. By that time, we will have hopefully, witnessed Game 3, and Atlanta will have 1. We will have witnessed the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We will have witnessed great college football. Not good, but great. And then also, we get to have you guys. And then I get to interact with you, Matt, and everything. So, we were going to talk about Georgia Tech basketball, but you know what? It's okay. Matt and I will talk about it because we got some really cool stuff to talk about. Dude, guys, listen. College basketball is knocking on that door. It's coming. Matt, are you ready for it?
Ready for it, man. Ready to roll.
That's right. And it's funny. I just knocked on the door and my daughters think someone's at the door. So, hey, guys, we are going to have to go ahead and sign off now. But as we always tell you, like our show on Facebook and on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. It is at the Sportz Nutz 176. Come on. Without you, this is not possible. We are at 115 subscribers right now. Let's get that goal of 125 going, and then we can go from there. We can do it with you. Now, remember, there is a gas card giveaway going on right now. If you can get us 5 more subscribers, and you show us proof you got those 5, you are entered for a $25 gas gift card. Guys, with what's going on right now in the world, you have no idea what gas is going to cost you. You have no idea if you're even going to find gas, especially what's going on with the hurricane. That $25 gas card is going to come in handy. That's so, right. You know, we've already had our $50 gift card winner. Blaze Smith has one. We are going to make sure to get all of the shirts that people have ordered out to you really soon. Just working on, of course, cost and, you know, obviously not doing a lot of shipping right now because of the whole hurricane situation here. It's coming. Don't worry, guys. The shirts are coming. I promise you there's more gear coming up. Matt is working closely with a possible vendor to get ball caps. We will have those soon. We're going to be working on trying to get a store set up either on Shopify or on Etsy. We don't know yet. We're trying to get it set up so you guys will be able to buy the latest and greatest merchandise. So with that being said, for our good friend Brandon Leak, home team Brandon Leak, by the way,
sir.
of
Yes,
6A the fan.
Yes, sir.
For this beautiful face right here. Look at this. He's not even paying attention to me. For this beautiful face right here, my man Matt. Wait.
Had it.
I am Brandon saying, you know, peace up, A-Town down, and we love you, and we care about you. We can't wait to see you next week. Matt, what do you tell people not to do again?
Don't get flagged, which means don't go out there and get in trouble, guys. But it's just better to say don't get flagged.
Don't get flagged. No. You ain't got to go home, but you can't get the heck up out of here because you know what? Show's over. Bye. Go eat some food and have a good night. We'll see you soon. Bye. Well, he just did. He just scored 8 points. That's big. He had a career.